He does very well too. But well, I guess the main thing is it's a matter of phrasing and taste. Dizzy's quite a technician, you know, and I don't think I play quite as technically inspired as he does.
Well, how would you compare Miles Davis with you?
Well, Miles plays a style that's very relaxed. It's almost well, it's on the in the direction of being easy to imitate, I would say, because he doesn't play a whole lot of notes, but what he does play is in very good taste, and it swings.
What about Fats Navarro? Are you familiar with a lot of Fats's work on records?
Yes, I'm pretty familiar with Fats because I admired him very much, and I always will remember him as one of the greatest trumpet players the world has known.
Would you name any other trumpeters as being outstanding men, in your opinion?
Well, of course, there's always Pops, the father, so to speak, Louis Armstrong. And I thought very much of Roy Eldridge, only I didn't hear him too much. In fact, I've never heard him in person, but I did hear I think one of the first records I heard of any trumpet player, you know, to really listen to as a trumpet player myself was Let Me Off Uptown by Roy Eldridge, and I was very inspired by that.
That comparative lack of vibrato in modern instrument playing, in the trumpet in your case, in comparison to the playing of the earlier jazz men, where the vibrato was quite predominant. Why would you say that the vibrato has dropped out in modern jazz?
Well, I guess the only way I can explain this is that the vibrato at the end of the notes, almost to the extent that it's like a little shake, was very prominent before, and it gave a feeling of warmth. It was so warm that it was almost to what we would call hot now, and modern jazz isn't too hot. It's not cool, but it's not too hot. It's supposed to be the happy medium.
You wouldn't say, though, that there was a lack of emotion in modern jazz?
Definitely not. It's just it's the way that the emotion is put forth, I guess I would say. It's not in one or two notes. You don't put it all in one or two notes, and the phrasing of one or two notes. It's more of a thing that goes along generally, and by the notes that you play and the ideas and the technical things that you play all put together, you get that similar feeling of warmth that's in you know, the older jazz, I would say. Yeah.
Let me ask you, Brownie, about the technical difficulties involved in hitting so many notes creatively and in tune.
Well, that's quite a question. Well, there's always the fact that you, on a trumpet especially, that to cover the full range of the instrument is extremely difficult, and you have to practice sometimes a lot of lip slurs and staccatos and things of that sort from the bottom of the instrument, so to speak, all the way up to the top. And the trumpet now of today has such a wide range that in order to play from the, you know, the bottom all the way up to the top is quite a feat, and it's something that we're all, Dizzy and myself, and we're all working on in the hopes of mastering it completely.
How many hours of practice did you put in when you first took up the horn before you knew that you were going to follow it as a career?
Well, I used to practice, say about 2 hours just about every day. The most important thing in my practicing, I think, was that I didn't miss any days. I would practice every day. Even if I had to cut the time short, I would practice every day.
Well, of course, today you get a chance to play on the stand every day, 3 or 4 hours, and that is a sort of practice in itself. But do you do additional practicing before you go on the job today?
Well, it's very important for trumpet players to warm up thoroughly before they start to play the night, and I find that although you can be working every night consistently, that for a trumpet player alone, that's really not just enough to suffice. And of course, when you're not working, it's very essential that you practice, in order to keep up with the things that you develop when you are working and practicing.
Well, that covers a part of the technical end, Brownie. From the creative end, do you have the melody or the harmony predominantly in mind when you're improvising?
Well, I think I would say mainly that in this jazz that we're attempting to play today, it's very important that you know all of your chord progressions, and so you play a specific tune, and it has specific chord progressions, and you should be thoroughly familiar. You should know them just backward and forward, so to speak. You should know the changes thoroughly, and in knowing the changes, then it gives you a lot of freedom, and you're not only permitted to play from the basic changes, but you will sort of hear things by ear. By knowing what the change is, you'll hear things, in other words.
Brownie, thank you very much for being with us. Thank you for producing so many wonderful records for us to play, and I don't have to say I know that your already brilliant career will go much, much further.
Yeah, well, I hope so, Willis, and it's been my sincere pleasure, believe me.
Clifford Brown.